Samaritan Snare. While Picard fights for his life on the operating table, Geordi is held hostage by another group of idiots the crew runs into. Wesley's heading off for academy exams, and Picard is headed to a starbase for a mystery medical procedure which he apparently does not want. Pulaski is telling him how important it is, and at one point she says,
"You do have an ego, don't you?"
"All of Starfleet has this gigantic ego. What the hell are you talking about?" So the two best buddies are going to travel down in a shuttlecraft together. How fun.
Okay. When Picard walks out of the turbolift onto the bridge, he goes all the way around the bridge before heading into his ready room.
We see Ensign Gomez again walking with Geordi, which is good. She could turn out to be a cool character.
When the three of them are walking down the hall, we see that they're the kind of people that take up the entire sidewalk, and everybody else has to kind of slide past them. And I hate those kind of people.
After the shuttle leaves, the Enterprise gets a distress signal from an unknown ship, which turns into our A-plot. A for asinine.
The aliens are called Pakleds, and they have trouble explaining things.
And their piece of crap ship is falling apart.
They seem to want help from the Enterprise. Geordi takes one look at the inside of their ship through the view screen and says,
"Commander, from the looks of their ship, I can have them up and running in no time."
You sure?
Yeah, no problem.
"I know you're good, Geordi, but I think you're a little overconfident here."
Worf, continuing to be the only intelligent character on this show, gives perfectly valid concerns, which naturally are dismissed outright.
Do we truly need to send our chief engineer over to them? Why do we not simply give them the information they need to make their own repairs? We do not know anything about them. We need more information.
Report to the transporter room with all necessary gear.
Aye, sir.
Riker proceeds to demonstrate the traditional egocentrism of Starfleet.
They can't even move their ship without our help. We certainly have them outmanned and outgunned.
And also, they all automatically assume that everyone of this race is the same as the guys on the ship that they're observing.
Picard reveals that he is getting an artificial heart replacement because his original replacement was faulty. This is the good part, but we only cut back to it for 10 seconds at a time, which is unfortunate.
That's true. Geordi beams over to the alien ship.
Troy shows up and states that Geordi is in great danger, and I was watching Worf closely to see if he would throw up his hands in disgust. And even after she says that, everybody still brushes her off.
Those aliens, what they feel is not helplessness. Lieutenant LaForge is in great danger.
I don't think there's anything to worry about.
Who are the morons here again? Back on the shuttlecraft, Wesley calls Picard out in kind of a dick move.
"I guess you would have preferred Commander Riker as a traveling companion."
Like, Picard's just reading his book. He didn't say anything, he didn't do anything to imply that.
And Picard even moves to a different seat, but Wesley doesn't take the hint.
So then, surprise, surprise, the Pakleds turn out to be dangerous. I didn't really care at this point. This was not the interesting part of the episode, and the Enterprise crew is 100% responsible for not taking precautions and ending up in this mess.
Picard finally opens up a little bit to Wesley, tells him a story about getting into a bar fight and getting stabbed through the back into his heart, which is why he needed a heart replacement.
Picard is very eloquent in describing how he kicks some ass.
I had this one Nausicaan down in this somewhat devious joint lock when, unbeknownst to me, one of his chums drew his weapon and impaled me through the back.
The exchanges between Wesley and Picard are pretty good. Most of it works because Patrick Stewart is such a good actor. Meanwhile, the one group of idiots is trying to figure out a way to stop the other group of idiots. This supposedly elite group of the Federation's finest is being outwitted by a bunch of moron children.
I was just angry the whole time. When Wesley and Picard get down to the starbase, they immediately run into a challenge.
Wesley encounters a new form of technology called a door.
Wesley reveals that Pulaski tasked him with making sure Picard actually went into the medical facility. Was he not going to get his heart fixed? I mean, wouldn't he just die if he didn't do that?
He felt it was not necessary.
So he's just as dumb as everybody else is what you're saying. When Picard goes in for surgery, the doctors are all wearing these dumb red suits, but they're not wearing any masks, and the main doctor talks like a guy in a sci-fi TV show.
I'm going to let that sink in for a sec.
Activate sterile field. We'll need sharper focus on the thoracic polychromatics and verification of myocardial enzyme balance. The metabolation occlusions aren't holding. I can't stop the heterocyclic declination. Fuse!
Picard's surgery goes wrong, probably because the head surgeon was just making shit up,
We'll need sharper focus on the thoracic polychromatics.
and they say they need someone more qualified.
So, as is typical for a Saturday morning cartoon, the Enterprise crew decides to come up with a plan to trick the Pakleds.
Would you be suggesting a ruse of some sort?
I would.
Geordi takes a f***ing year to catch on to the plan. What an idiot.
The Enterprise bridge crew tries to make Geordi sound like a weapons expert and like they might leave him to die to trick the Pakleds.
And after everybody's on board with the plan, Riker says,
Geordi's up to speed. I trust his instincts.
yeah, his instincts have been spot on so far.
I don't think there's anything to worry about. Worry about.
And apparently, the Enterprise can force communication through to another ship. That would have been so helpful at many other points.
I want the Pakleds on that screen, and I want them now. Forced spectrum communication is spotty at best, sir. Do it.
So then after ejecting a bunch of fancy-looking red hydrogen, the Pakleds just give up? What the hell is going on? I hate everybody on this show right now except the guy who's about to die. Speaking of, turns out Pulaski is the only one who can save Picard because the other surgeon was outed as a fake who just spouted out a bunch of fancy-sounding words instead of actually performing medical procedures.
When they beam Geordi back on board, he says he disabled their photon torpedoes. But why did he actually build them photon torpedoes?
I think we should have another officer exchange, this time with the Pakleds, and Riker can just go over there and be one of them.
Picard walks onto the bridge, everyone claps.
I beg your pardon.
And Geordi says things are back to normal, as if Picard is a curmudgeon all the time. But they never say what happened to the Pakleds, they just kind of leave him out there.
Samaritan Snare. Overall,
The Pakleds are stupid. Pulaski having to save Picard out of nowhere is stupid. Wesley's plotline not going anywhere is stupid. This whole episode was stupid, but I'm still going all the way up to a C-.
what?
Because the Picard-Wesley stuff on the shuttle is really good.
C range is average range. For 30 seconds of quality material, you're going to give this one a just below average.
It was good character development stuff. It was interesting.
But it was 10% of the episode.
No, it was a little more than that. I'm going to give it a C-.
Gross. I give this one a D. I do not like the episodes where everybody acts like an idiot just to forward a nonsensical plot. They make dumb decisions, create a mess for themselves, and then act all heroic as they fight their way out of it. And what resolution is there? They just left the Pakleds behind to continue being morons, and Wesley's exams didn't amount to anything. The only good part about this was listening to Picard reveal more about himself. But that's not the episode. Very disappointing.
I don't disagree. I just think that stuff was good enough to make it at least worth watching the first half.
I threw down my pencil in disgust. I mean, they could kill two birds with one stone by having the Borg assimilate the Pakleds. This one sucked.
Yeah, it sucked, but there was some good stuff in it.
Not C- good stuff.
But I already gave it a C-, and I'm too lazy to change it.